Well, what's trending now is the Prime Minister has said that the issue of the purported monopoly of rice imports by corporate figure Tan Sri Syed Mukhtar al-Bukhari should not be politicised, as it was raised with the aim to help the poor padi farmers. Anwar's also said he's had a good discussion on the matter with Tan Sri Syed Mukhtar, who also agreed to give back 10 million ringgit this month and 50 million ringgit next year to the farmers. This point, and for the benefit of this conversation, I'm joined by Datuk Dr. A.T. Kumararaja, Council Member of NCCIM, to discuss the current Bernas conversation. A.T., thanks for joining us. Why was Bernas formed in the first place? Walk us back a little bit to its goal and objective.
Right. Thanks for having me again, Jesse. You must understand that whole concept of Bernas is exactly what, say, even today we would do. May not be in exact terms, but in terms of intention, is to ensure food security, to ensure that our farmers have got sustainability. You must understand when it was in the early days of privatization, right? So we had this huge privatization exercises across many industries, and this happened in 1994. Now, when it's under an individual entrepreneur or a businessman like Tan Sri Syed Mukhtar, he just entered the market about 12 years ago. After about 14 years later, after Lembaga Padi Negara becomes Bernas. But actually, Bernas does do a lot of good things. One, the disruption, it insulates our local farmers who are producing probably not paddy at the highest quality, nor at the best price from the external shocks. Because across the border in Thailand, paddy is much higher quality, cheaper, and if you allow open liberalization, it's really going to destroy our local farmers and our market, which means this is exactly what we would do even for food security as we speak today. So the exercise is not wrong. And I think just that early days of, I think 5 days ago when our Prime Minister finished his first cabinet meeting, came out and made a statement. Actually, that statement was, supposed now in this breaking news kind of environment, everything is taken in a negative connotation. But
over the last blown out of its context, because here's the question to you now: the kerfuffle with regards to the Prime Minister's comments and to Syed Bukhari, do you think that is also been blown out in terms of its main dealing or its main objective? People are saying that, this is racism as well, and the Prime Minister has come out to say, hey, let's not make an issue out of this. We are protecting the farmers, as you've pointed out, food security.
I think in the new unity government, Kerajaan Perpaduan, I think a lot of things are being seen from a lens of race, a sense of whether all this was right. Privatization is actually a bad exercise. All privatization exercises were good events at that point in time. It is only those things that really have grown our markets to these sizes. So that exercise, nothing wrong. Even Tan Sri Syed Mukhtar, I think, readily agreed from the conversations which I've been following on the media, readily agreed. So this idea of giving back is basically Bernas saying, look, this was the original intent. It was actually our current Prime Minister, who was the Finance Minister then, who said that 45% of the whole Bernas shareholdership should actually be with the farmers and the stakeholders within the industry itself. So Bernas, not a bad intention. It's just that now it's in private, so maybe we need to put in back mechanisms. But the liberalization, Jesse, just not remember, you have to open it up in staggered ways. You cannot open it up immediately. It will destroy our local markets.
Right. Okay. So with things now being realigned, what can be done for Bernas to ensure that it can actually be brought into fruition for the nation?
Okay, I'll reverse this question, right? So Bernas may not be now so probably we don't use the word Bernas, but even if you had to right size or put this in perspective, you probably have to open up the markets, ensure that this is the unintended consequences of having a non-competitive and inefficient market, but build in the kind of sizes necessary, bring in technology. I'll give you a simple example, right? If you take agricultural land in this country, in Peninsular Malaysia, we have got 8 million hectares, out of which 6 million has got palm oil, 1 million has got rubber, and only another 1 million is left in terms of agriculture. And that's when the plot sizes of our farmers are actually small, so they don't have efficiency in size. Our food security, we're not really there. We're somewhere in the second quantile. We're about 41, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of the food security across the world. And we have a very high food import bill. At 2021, we did 63 billion plus. So we should be able to do this right, provided Bernas able to work with the stakeholders, open up the market in staggered May, have a very clear policy approach. But I think this is something well done. I would think that YB Rafizi Ramli would probably want to take up this in his portfolio, because he's looking for the next trajectory in terms of...
We talk about the stakeholders. If we are really serious about bringing on these changes in phase as well, who should the new stakeholders, or who should be brought to the table for this strategy to really work this time, AT, in 1 minute?
I think you have to start basically with the farmers themselves. They are the market that we're trying to protect, right? So that then bring them into the whole ecosystem, the whole idea of having this food security issue, but to ensure that our local farming industry is sustainable, especially in this case, say, paddy farming. But with the idea that we must have a very clear intention that there is a food security issue. We cannot go down the path that we did a couple of years ago. We must ensure that our local industry survives, but insulated in such a way that the shocks that are coming from very highly subsidized, cheaper imports, maybe higher quality, coming across the borders, must be also controlled. Liberalized opening, a controlled opening would probably be a very, very good exercise, but our farmers must be in the picture. I think this is just realignment that's necessary.
Absolutely. Sometimes for change, we need to get a little uncomfortable. But food security is a growing problem. And if we are serious about climate change and, of course, protecting our farmers as well, we really need to get down to business. AT, thanks for weighing in and sharing your views. We'll check in with you again. I'm off to a quick break right now. When I come back, I'll take you around the globe and what's happening the world over.